Hello and welcome back, developers. I was waiting for you. Okay, so we are going to continue our Visual Studio Code tutorial series, and as you can see, I've launched my Visual Studio Code. Okay, this is my personal Visual Studio Code. As you can see, it's up to date. If I check for updates, and okay, you see, there are currently no updates available, so it's up to date. And let's see the extensions that I use. So if I just make these go away, so these are the extensions. I use 22 extensions. Okay, I've installed those. So auto rename tag, uh, what this does is basically, if you are going to rename the opening or closing tag, it's going to uh, automatically just rename the other tag. Okay, it's very useful for me. Then bracket pair colorizer 2 means it just gives the colors to brackets so that they are important. I don't know about bookmarks, but I just installed it. uh, then we have color highlight. Okay, so which highlights the colors inside of css. Then the material theme. Okay, so with the material theme, the community material theme comes installed. Then you have dart for flutter. Okay, I'm learning flutter, that's why I use dart. And then you have the theme. Okay, so I also like the other themes like Dracula official. Okay, it's a very good theme, but sometimes I like to use other themes. Like, I'm not stick to one theme. Then easy zoom. Okay, which will it's really useful, because if I have some text, so if I double click here, creates a new file. So if I have some text, for example, this is my text, and then I can just control and then scroll to zoom in and out. Okay, so this is amazing. I don't want to save it. Then you have flutter. Okay, then flutter color, which gives colors highlighting. Then you have html css support, which is basically which shows the support in from css. Then live server, you know about it, probably you know about it. Okay, it's very popular. So there are currently 4 million, okay, 4.6 million downloads. Then I also use live share for collaborating, and then you know, uh, joining with other people and then coding together. Then material icon theme. Then material theme. Okay, these come with material theme. Then pale night theme is also an amazing theme. I like to change themes time by time. Okay, then prettier code formatter, I showed it to you. Then Python extension, I'll make a video on how to set up Python in Visual Studio Code pretty quickly. Then this synthwave 84 theme, it's a glowing kind of theme. So I showed it to you in the css tutorials. Then the ubuntu style theme, this is also a good theme with a different kind of syntax highlighting. And the last one is Vue.js. Okay, this one is also amazing for Vue.js. So those were my personal extensions. Okay, now let's take a look. If you want to take a look at the features of Visual Studio Code, so you can just go to help, and then you can click on interactive playground, and this will open up a tab where you can just take a look at the features like multi-cursor editing, and they show you the way how basically you can do the multi-cursor editing, and the editing you can do it here. Okay, so I'm just going to show you one. So they have shift and then up, shift down arrow. This is the box selection, so you can use shift up arrow to select a line like this. Okay, shift down arrow. Then add a cursor, so if you want to add a cursor, control alt up arrow. It's not working. Control alt down arrow. I think, oh, I now know. My screen got off. Okay, so I'm on Windows, so it's just flipping the screen. Okay, let's not do that. I think there's a bit different key binding, or a bit different, what do we say, a bit different shortcut for this. Okay, so let's see this one. IntelliSense. Okay, I'll probably show it to you. So if something is missing, if you don't have, then request dot, you're not getting any suggestions, or you've missed the suggestions, so you can just say control plus space, and then you can get all the suggestions, and it's pretty useful. Okay, and you can just see, play around with it. It's very fun. Okay, I've used the interactive playground, and yeah, it's amazing. And then the welcome page. Okay, so I can go to help and then welcome. So this is the welcome page. You can show welcome page on startup, or disable this, disable this or enable this. I like to enable it because I get the option to open folder pretty quickly. From here I have to open folder, or from here I have to open folder. Instead of that, just open folder from here. Looks good, looks better. So we have the welcome page. Now let's take a look at my settings. So I can just go here and then settings, and then you see I have autosave enabled. Autosave delay is 300 milliseconds. Font size is 19 pixels. Then it's nothing. These are the fonts that I've used till now. So I just made them a different name, so that this font jumps to this font, and then this font jumps to this font. Currently I'm using Fira Code. It's an amazing font. Then I also have font ligatures. Let me show it to you. Font ligatures enabled. So for some reason it's not showing the checkbox. Okay, so you can just click on edit in settings.json. So this is the settings file basically, where if you see, if you perfectly see, let me go to here, and if I just copy setting as JSON, and then I can go here, and if I paste, this is the setting. Okay, so I can just say editor dot font ligatures to true, and if I set it to false, that will basically disable the font ligatures. Okay, so you can edit in settings.json also. It's another way of editing the settings. Yes, for some reason it's not showing the checkbox, and no problem for that. Okay, let's see others. So font family. Okay, then tab size. I use this tab size too, because on 4 tab size there is a lot of space. And then word wrap will be on, and let's take a look. Let's see, there are many settings. Okay, I can't show you every one of them. So cursor blinking, it's a how my cursor blinks, it's phase kind of animation. So that's what I like. So it's cursor style line, then phase is the animation. I like this animation. Then cursor smooth caret animation, which it means basically that if you have some, like, a lot of lines of code, and then if you want to move your cursor, if you like to move it, so it moves with a kind of animation that looks amazing. And I like that animation, that's why I've enabled it. Okay, and then the cursor looks amazing, and the phase animation style. Then you have the find. Okay, then font, you can just see add extra space to top in the find. Okay, control F. Formatting, I showed it to you. I use format on save. Then div editor, everything that's available here, you can just check out. There are many settings. It's just pretty amazing. Now let's take a look at the shortcuts. Okay, so if you want to take a look at shortcuts, what you can do is you can just go to this icon, and then go to keyboard shortcuts, and these are the shortcuts. As you can see, it's a very long list of shortcuts. You can also install, if you use Sublime Text or Atom or Vim, So these are the other text editors. If you use those, and if you are switching to Visual Studio Code, and if you want those same shortcuts to be applied in Visual Studio Code, so you can just install the Sublime Text Keymap. Okay, so Microsoft has itself made this. So you have for Sublime Text, you have those for Sublime Text, you have those for Atom, and you also have those for Vim. Okay, so Vim. Okay, Vim. The one for Vim is not by Microsoft, but no problem. It's also an amazing extension. But I use Visual Studio Code extensions a lot. I don't use any other text editor, and that's what I like. Okay, and so you have many shortcuts that you can choose from. So for example, and also you can just you see control alt up arrow. It's just going to move the cursor up and down, but it wasn't doing this for me. I don't know why, but no problem. You can change the setting by, for example, if I changed one setting. So if I go to, for example, let's say terminal. Okay, so terminal will be toggle terminal. So if I just see this one, I've changed. Okay, view, in the view, toggle integrated terminal. Where is it? Toggle integrated. So you see view terminal, and then control T is that key binding. By default it was the control plus backtick. Let me show it to you. So what I'm doing here is enabling screencast mode. It's a very useful mode where where if I press anything, it shows you, okay, down on the screen. So that's control backtick. Okay, just like that, control backtick, and now it's control T, which gives me the terminal. Okay, so the terminal is basically, you can say, the command prompt of Windows, just like that. Okay, it's an amazing feature. And how do you change it? Just right click and then say change key binding, or you can remove key binding and reset it. Okay, if I reset it, this is going to say control plus backtick. I can right click, change when expression, show same key bindings. Okay, so I'm going to change key binding, and then I can say control T, just like that, press enter, and this is going to change. You can also remove some key bindings if you don't want. Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to show you that you also have Visual Studio Keymap. So let me show it to you. Visual Studio Keymap. So that is basically for Visual Studio users who use Visual Studio a lot. So if you want the same key bindings like Visual Studio in VS Code, you can just do that. And if you want to just, you know, want to see in detail what are the, key bindings and the shortcuts or anything like that, you can quickly go to their website. Okay, they have a very good documentation. So code.visualstudio.com/docs. I'll leave this link down in the description below. And getting started, and then you have the setup working. You have overview for Linux, Mac OS, Windows. You get started. Okay, intro, videos, tips and tricks, user interface, everything. So if you go to this tab where I have opened up get started settings. Okay, so it's a pretty long page. And then you can just go to Visual Studio tips and tricks. So this is the tips and tricks page where they show you the tips and tricks, and you can also download the keyboard reference sheets. Okay, so if you want to see the key bindings by viewing to a page, by not going back to like this keyboard shortcuts. If you don't want to do that, you can just go ahead and download those key bindings for Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. So that will be amazing. If I click on key maps, you see all the key maps extensions come in. So the Vim, Sublime Text, then Atom, then IntelliJ IDEA, then Notepad++, Eclipse, the popular Keymaps, Delphi and Emacs. Okay, and you see for Windows it's a PDF file, so I can just save it just like that. Okay, I can go to my docs, save it, and that's amazing. And you can do the same thing for Linux or Mac OS also. It will give you the PDF file. And the last page I opened up is the key bindings page. Okay, I showed it to you right now. How can you change the key binding? And this is how you define a new key binding. Okay, so going into the file and then defining that, so you can just read these pages. I'm gonna leave a link to this page from where you can just get to these other pages, the key binding, the settings. You also have themes. So if I open up the themes, this will basically open up this page where you have the themes. Okay, the color themes, the setting, how to set the color theme from marketplace and something like that. Now if you will be wondering that how I enable this screencast mode, I just went into this command palette. Okay, this is used a lot in Visual Studio Code. So you have the commands, okay, that are very very useful. So if I want to create a new project in Flutter, I can use Flutter new project, then show release notes of Visual Studio Code. So if it's updated, it will show me the release notes. So what's new, then Linux screen reader support, everything, draggable sash corners. You can just click those to just take a look. Okay, so this is pretty amazing command palette. I use it a lot, and for some reason when a page something like this is open, it doesn't show up. Okay, open keyboard shortcuts, so it will open up keyboard shortcuts. So it's used a lot, and if you want, I'm going to leave a link down in the description below for the command palette also. If I was to find it from here, okay, I need to find it where the command palette is, and then I'll leave the command palette link in the description below. So thank you guys for watching this video, and if you want to see more of the customizations in Visual Studio Code, you can just comment them down below. If you want to see that how my Visual Studio Code looks like, okay, how I've changed some settings, what are the other things that a developer can use in Visual Studio Code, how it's made, some content like that, you can just comment me down below. And if you have any questions, any feedback, any suggestions, then you can just comment them down below and I'll answer them. I read all the comments. So have a good day. Finally, thanks for watching.